Good morning, everyone. Am I audible?
You can
I can start, right, Chinmay now? Chinmay, I'm not able to hear you. Chinmay, I'm not able to hear you.
start. You are audible.
Hello.
Murari, start. You are audible.
Cool. Okay. So, good morning, everyone. Hope I am audible, loud and clear. So, thanks a lot for joining in today's session. Okay. What we are going to talk here, maybe it's just a discussion which we are going to do today is on the cloud data platform evolution. Okay. Little bit about me, my introduction. I have all. So my name is Murari. I am carrying almost 13 year experience into data analytics space. I have also published a book onto data analytics with Google Cloud Platform, and it is available on Amazon and other platforms. So you can. I request you to go and maybe just have a look of that book. I have worked on multiple different cloud. Okay, it's not just GCP. I have worked on Azure as well as AWS. Okay, and have been involved in setting up the data lake for multiple different customers on multi-cloud or hybrid cloud environment. I am very much passionate about sharing the knowledge and conducting the webinars, and that's where this is my 50th. I will say I have conducted more than 50 webinars. I have conducted more than 50 I have conducted more than 50 webinars, and I'm a machine learning practitioner as well. And I'm also part of Mentor for Change program, which is run by Government of India, Niti Ayog, where I go to schools bi-weekly and then talk on some of the topics which is given by a Niti Ayog committee. So this is quite a little bit introduction about me. I have completed a lot many certifications also, and I'm happy to connect with you offline in case if you have any doubts on any of the data related technology. Let's start quickly. I will quickly check in between I am audible, right, because I have connected through the hotspot, and unfortunately there is a power cut in the morning, unfortunately, but yeah, I am trying my best to take this session through hotspot. So I understand that I am audible and you are able to view my screen as well. Cool. So let's start with what is cloud computing, right? You must have seen the trends right now, right? In this current pandemic situation, people are moving towards cloud, right? Rather than they are not very much interested to invest money into on-premises technology. So what is cloud computing? The first question which comes into our mind when we start understanding cloud computing, what does it mean? So cloud computing is nothing different than your what I'll say on-premises or physical infrastructure which you carry. The only thing is you are not responsible for managing those infrastructure rather than you are relying on a third party. Okay. So what it is doing is it is enabling the network access. It will make sure that whatever infrastructure you are using is scalable. It has shareable physical or virtual resources. So basically you can share the resources between different projects, different what will say organizations. Okay. And how you can what will say enable cloud computing and these resources, all this can be done through self service. Okay, so there would be a what is a user interface or a portal or the service or the what is the APIs through which you can enable all those services which can be used for your application or for your data management or for any of the software aspect. Okay, so basically what cloud computing is doing is it is enabling you with the required infrastructure, required support, required service which is required in order to develop your software. Okay, you are not taking care of managing it. However, you are just going to the vendor and you are asking those services or what to say features on demand, and they would be able to serve your requirement. Okay, so that's where cloud computing is getting more traction into the market, because it allows you to free up couple of what to say resources. It can save you the cost. If you, I think you must have heard about opex and capex mechanism, right? So operational expenditure and application expenditure. So you can always save operational expenditure with the help of cloud computing. There are different type of models which cloud computing offers, right? You can see I have listed couple of the what I'll say models which is being offered by the cloud service, which is storage as a service, database as a service, information as a service, process as a service. So there are multiple. So this term as a service came along with your cloud computing. Okay, because what you are doing with cloud providers is you are getting those things. It could be storage, it could be process, it could be application security as a service package. Okay, it's you are not the owner, however you are consuming those service which is given by your cloud provider. Okay, feel free to type in your question. Okay, I will be able to answer all your questions during the session. Okay, it could be in between, it could be at the end, and I generally feel to make the session interactive. But yeah, since it is a live streaming, you can always go and type in your question, and I would be able to take those questions at the end of the session. Quickly moving to the next slide. Okay, what a couple of benefits, right? Why people are moving towards cloud computing? Why? Because see, everybody look for some benefits or some what I'll say uses. Why the cloud computing is important? Okay, so this slide will give you the couple of benefits which is listed for a cloud computing platform, right? So I will not go through all the benefits, but very important benefits like pay as you go, right? So since consider if you are planning to host a database, right, on premises, what you do, right? If you are talking about on premises hosting of a database, you think of the data volume which will going to grow in next 5 year, right? So you will not think of that, okay, it's only 20 MB today. However, what could be my volume of the data maybe down the line after 5 years, 7 year, 10 year, and depending on that you will try to procure the licenses of that database. According to that, you want to procure the licenses of the database. But what is the main benefit you are getting over here in cloud computing? So consider you have the requirement of only 2 GB database today, right? You can go and configure that 2 GB database instance only, and you can only be charged for that 2 GB database. Okay, that's where your pay as you go functionality comes very handy. Okay, so you do not have to pay something which you are not using. However, in case of on-premises system, right, you need to think of the future perspective, because you are not going to change the infrastructure every day. What you are thinking of is a long run and the futuristic vision, and that's where you will think of implementing it into a long run. So as you consider pay as you go, the cloud computing is also economical. I will not say it's not economical. It's economical to some extent, because as and when you plan to and your usage grows, right? So you plan to use the cloud platform extensively. It may charge you a little extra, but yeah, it may be economical during the first initial phase of the implementation. On demand self service, as I told you, right, today you need a database, you go and configure and invoke instance of database. Today you need a VM, virtual machine, you have gone and you have just invoked a virtual machine. So all those things are very very easy to configure, and that's what you that is called as on demand self service. Easy maintenance, right, you do not have to worry about patch update, windows update or any other software update. Everything, as it is a PaaS platform, it is taken care by the cloud provider itself. It they also claim 99.9% availability as per their SLA, and there are multiple what to say networks through which you can connect. So consider, if you want to make sure that the data should not go outside India boundary or outside UK boundary, or you want to follow GDPR compliance, you can always go and select that particular zone or subnet or whatever you want, right, as a part of networking, so that your data resides locally. Okay, so these are a couple of benefits which I just wanted to highlight as a part of cloud computing. Let's see the journey, okay, of how does this infrastructure or the what will say IT involved, right? So we started somewhere with mainframe, okay, which is in 1950s. That's where the first data, I will not say data, the first platform came in order to support software requirement, right? Then we started 1960s. That's where the PC and all those came into the picture, right? I still remember that what was a floppy disk, right, which was in somewhere 90s, right? There was a floppy disk, and if something will go, you need to maybe throw it. It was costing around 40 rupees at that time. So 1960s was the year when people started understanding what is personal desktop. Uh, there was no centralized computing at that time, so everything was isolated into a different system, and that's where that decentralized computing was taken care. And 1960s was the year when your birth of IT services came. Okay, so people started understanding that, okay, why do we need a IT service and all those. 1990s, right, that's where your client server architecture came into the picture. Okay, and that was one of the, what will say, uh, complete revolution in the field of in the field of IT and software. Okay, because what you can do is you can connect to a server through virtual private network, right? And there would be a server and there would be a client who is connecting to those server, and that's where that client server architecture came into the place. Okay, in 2000, right, that's where, what is say, that hosted environment came into the picture, right? When I'm saying hosted environment, basically you are talking about the virtualization layer, right? You are not creating any physical environment, however you are hosting that environment onto some of the infrastructure. Okay, and the infrastructure would be managed by somebody else, something like VMware, right? So VMware will give you the ability to completely host a virtual machine, right, which is again a virtualization. So that concept started late somewhere in 2000. Okay, and from 2010 the revolution came into the market, and it started with cloud computing. Cloud computing, as I told you, is a biggest revolution as far as the IT industry is concerned. Okay, and how does it evolve, right? So as I told you, right, it always, so whenever you're using cloud computing, you always call it as a service, right? So that's where emergence of as a service concept came. Okay, like IaaS, infrastructure as a service, PaaS, platform as a service, SaaS, software as a service, right? So all those delivery models came along with your cloud computing platform. uh, there was multiple more benefits which was included as a part of cloud computing. It was collaborative computing environment which was enabling customer to do the computing across multiple, what is the distributed environment, as well as you have like computing models as well in order to support your cloud computing. Okay, so this was the little journey which started somewhere in 1950s, and in 2020 today, right, we are also seeing a lot of evolutions coming up into the data field, at least if I'll talk about, right, like blockchain, machine learning, AI. All those technologies are getting a lot of traction in these current scenarios, right? because people are looking for some automation and all those, right? So you must have heard about bots implementation and all those, which is using NLP, are again getting a lot of tractions into the market. Let's moving further. So whenever you go ahead, right, one of the question customer ask, okay, you told that, okay, what is cloud computing, why it is important, and all those, right? But why you want us to move on cloud? So whenever I work with the customer, right, customer always say that, okay, all these things are fine, right? How about the cost? How about the security? Why I should move on to the cloud, right? What are the additional features or benefit I'm going to get if I'll move to the cloud, right? So this could be the answer to the customer in that particular scenario. Cloud environment gives you elasticity. Okay, as I told you, you are not going to invest in one maybe in one go, rather you are spending in a small chunk. So companies which are like startups, right, they always prefer to go on cloud because they are not, what I'll say, paying for whole infrastructure in one go, rather than they are paying based on the uses, right? They are also getting the benefit of elasticity. It always allow you to fail fast. Why fail fast? So there's a very good concept, right? Fail fast is a very new concept. I will say not new concept, but very important concept as far as your design principle is concerned, right? So people say that rather than failing at a later stage, you should always fail it at a very initial stage, so that you can understand that what are the corrective actions need to be taken, and then you can take those actions and then move forward, right? How does cloud computing will let you fail fast, right? Because see, if you are going ahead with the on-premises type of infrastructure or setting up the complete whole world, okay, what will happen in that case? You will wait till all your infrastructure is set up, it is live, and then you will go ahead and test it. However, with cloud, right, what you can do is you can invoke a small instance of the infrastructure, or maybe whatever things you require, right, whatever service you require, and then you can easily test it with the type of small set of configuration that allows you to understand that, okay, your application, your program, how does it is behaving, whether it is failing or it is like working fine. So it allows you to go with fail fast methodology. Again, fast time to market, similar concept, right? If you are going ahead with setting up the entire thing at your own, you must need a lot of time. Okay, the time to market will expand like anything if you are considering to set up everything. Rather than that, if you are going ahead with cloud type of environment, you are getting couple of service which are ready to use, right, which is like a SaaS product, and then which allows you to faster time to market. uh, Secure. So I may not be 100% agree with this word, but yeah, cloud provides you a little bit more security, because you, when you are working with on-premises database or on-premises system or on-premises infrastructure, you need to control the security, reliability, and SLA at your own. However, in the case of cloud provider, you are relying on all these three functionality or features for the cloud. Okay, so basically cloud provider will take care of these three important aspects. So when it comes to security, right, there are a couple of mechanism which is provided by the cloud provider, which is like when the data is in transit, when the data is in rest, how does the different security mechanism work, what are the different types of encryption decryption techniques you can apply when you are persisting the data onto the cloud. So this is very important slide. Anybody have any question? Please feel free to type in, and I would be able to answer your questions. Okay, because customers always ask this question that, okay, why we should move to the cloud, and that's where you need to be very confident on answering this question. That, okay, these are the couple of features which are very important features which are going to get as a part of cloud migration. Moving to the next slide, right? Couple of downsides. Again, we have covered mostly in our earlier side, but yeah, a couple of downsides of on-premises solution. You need to pay upfront cost. You need to maintain the resources cost, right? You need to make sure that tuning and deployment is also taken care by you if you are maintaining a on-premises solution. Okay, again, there is a scale constraint, right? A very important point, right? So as I was saying, that if you have configured your database for consider 50 GB of requirement, and suddenly so let's give this example, right? So you must have seen Flipkart Big Billion Day. Okay, when it has been launched, I think long back, 6 7 years back, right, 2012 or 13, they have launched that. And on the first day when it started at 8 a.m., the server was not responding. Why? Because they have not anticipated that much load, and being on premises system, right, their system was not scaled enough to cater that type of volume. Okay, if they was used, or they may have used a cloud based infrastructure, auto scaling and all those features would be by default enabled for them, which can take care of those type of load. Okay, so that is the one of the very important constraint, or I will say downside of on premises database, that if you have not configured your infrastructure for understanding a huge volume or auto scaling, then there would be always a scale constraint. Okay, so it may not go beyond certain scale. Okay, let's move forward. I hope people are understanding, and if you have any questions, please feel free to type in the chat box. Okay. Let's understand what are the different types of cloud service model which is given and offered by the cloud. Okay, so like on premises where you are managing everything, then followed by IaaS, which is infrastructure as a service, followed by PaaS, platform as a service, and then software as a service. So infrastructure as a service, as name suggests, right? What you are doing is you are just getting the required infrastructure from the cloud vendor. Okay, so you can see dark blue, which is mentioned over here, is managed by you. So you manage the application, you manage the data, but what you are getting from the cloud vendor is servers, storage, virtual machines. All those comes as a part of infrastructure as a service. Let's go to platform as a service, right? In platform as a service, you are getting some more services like operating system along with your VMs. Okay, you are also getting middleware, you are getting what will say runtime functions, and all those things are also available in PaaS, which is platform as a service. However, data and application deployment is still managed by you. The last and the important thing is software as a service, which where you are not managing application, you are not managing software, you are managing application, you are managing software, and you are managing data. Okay, so these are the Am I audible?
Yes, Murari.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Sorry, guys. Actually, I think there was some internet issue and I got disconnected. I hope I am loud and clear. Can you put some comment, guys? I think if you are still there. Sorry for that. Guys, are you still there? Anyone? Can you post your comment, please? Cool. So let me start again. Okay. Cool. So what I was talking about is the evolution of data platform. I'm not sure if you guys can hear me. Right. Okay. So what is the data evolution? Okay. How does the data platform evolve? Right. So there are different phases or different waves, I would say. There were three different waves which came into the market: first wave, second wave, and third wave. First wave is basically when we started with traditional data warehouse. Data was targeted for the use cases and it was not very much scalable, right? Why? Because people just designed the data warehouse once and then they are ingesting the data. However, if you get a new use case requirement, if you want to add something to the existing world, it was very, very difficult, right? Because you are talking about the monolithic architecture. Okay. And what happened after that is basically uh, the evolution came into the second phase. Okay, and that second phase was basically when your data explosion takes place, right? So we are talking about a big data type of data here. Okay, in the second phase, what happened? The requirement of decentralizing the system was required. Okay, because everything cannot be stored into a monolithic architecture. People were looking for the cheap storage. They were trying to decentralize the data system, and then everywhere there was a buzzword of big data. Okay, so and people were getting little mature, right? So they were asking that, okay, how we can break the data into the different parts, how does the bottleneck will be removed, because data right now is in silos, right? Data is stored just in one place, and there were a lot of problems when the data volume was growing. Okay, in the third wave, right, which was basically the revolution of data. Basically in that phase what was the required is basically mass data intelligence, right? So we were talking about, so in the third wave people realize that data is not just a need. Okay, data is very much mandatory to run any business. Okay, so something like they wanted to have a departmental like application. Okay, so if you have seen in third phase people are going ahead with what will say, everywhere they want to apply the data intelligence or data engineering. So they would have a different platform for marketing, they will have a different platform for what will say finance, there is a different platform for HR. So they then came and understood the what will say the requirement and why the data is so important. Okay, and they then gone ahead and try to find out how does they can perform the analytics right on an organization wide level. Okay, so the third wave was basically a revolution where data integrated into everything. Okay, so they are not just talking about a simple application. However, with anything, data is a very important component. Okay, moving to the next slide, right? So let's understand what was the traditional approach which was being followed what I'm trying to show over here is a phase one, okay, or maybe the evolution phase one, where it was basically a normal traditional approach. There was a lot of many data sources layers, okay, like sales, inventory, files. Data is stored in structured or maybe Excel or all those type of formats. Okay, and then we were applying the different types of ETL. Okay, so when we say ETL, basically extract, transform, and load. So we are applying different types of ETL process in order to pull that data and then push it into a data warehouse, which was nothing but a storage layer. And on top of that, we had an access layer, which is again onto the any of the what will say database or onto the what will say. So again, basically it was a type of database or Excel or extract or SSIS cube. All those things was being given to the end user to access the data, which was called as the access layer. This was by and large a traditional approach where people were like working on all these three layered architecture in order to process the data. Now let's understand how does the cloud data platform work, right? This is the main agenda of our today's session. Okay, how does the cloud data platform work? Cloud data platform again gives you enable you to process, store, and what will say apply a unified data governance across the platform. However, you are still connecting with the external source system in case you are pulling the data. Okay, so data source may not be directly what to say your cloud data platform. However, you are still interacting with the other cloud application or external data source system or on-premises system to pull up the data or push the data onto the cloud platform, and then you are applying the different types of processing technique, and then you are storing it for the further processing or further visualization purpose. Okay, let me give you one other example, right? So generally you see the trends that if I'll talk about a greenfield implementation, right? So greenfield implementation into the cloud platform is something like you have a new data sources which you have just developed, which could be a real time or a batch. You want to ingest that data into your cloud world. Okay, and then you want to apply certain processing on that data, and then you persist that data for your what to say reporting purpose or maybe for ML purpose or AI purpose, right? So with cloud data platform, all those services which is required in order to do your data processing are coming very handy and as a package. Okay, in maybe I will say in this scenario, right, in a traditional approach, you might need to go for a different vendors. Okay, for each and every different type of services. Okay, for storage it could be a different vendor, for processing it could be a different vendor. So that's where you might need to go to a different vendors in case, but again the data latency would be there, right, because you are talking to different platform. And that's where cloud data platform help you to overcome all those things. Okay, so you have a consumption layer, you have an ingestion layer. Ingestion can be done for your real time data, your batch data. You can apply the different type of processing, like I'm not going to a very specific cloud, but yeah, there are different type of processing tools or services available within the cloud data platform, which help you to process the data. Okay, and then finally you can store the data which can be required for your reporting or AIML purposes. Okay, so this is by and large how does a cloud platform looks like. Okay, and again you can push that data back if required to other cloud application or a SaaS application. Okay, again it gives you a very good unified data governance which I am talking about. So when I say data governance, basically what you are going to get here is a uh, IAM security. So I hope everybody is aware about the IAM. Okay, what does IAM is? Infrastructure access management. Okay, with the help of IAM, you will be able to control the access of different services, different data. Okay, how does the security can be applied, and it helps you to apply the orchestration. So there are multiple different data orchestration or the pipeline orchestration tool also available within all this data, all this cloud data platform. Okay, like ADF is one of the data orchestration tool which is available in Azure. Okay, followed by Cloud Composer which is available in GCP, and similarly, there are multiple services in AWS also which offers the pipeline orchestration. Feel free to ask any questions, guys, if you have onto the chat box, please. Okay, let's go to the integrated approach. Okay, so how does a pipeline looks like in a cloud world? Okay, so I have taken the example of Azure here, that how does a pipeline will look like in case of Azure. Okay, so you can see there are social media website, there are OLTP system which is like as a source. Okay, what we are doing is we are ingesting the data in real time as well as in batch through data factory. Okay, so data factory is being used here as a ingestion tool. Okay, once the data is ingested, you can apply even the transformation also using the data factory, and then you persist that data into data warehouse. Okay, and on top of that you can do the analytics using BI servers. Okay, so BI servers is being used here in order to do the analytics, which could be your reporting like Power BI, or what I'll say, Azure machine learning engine, right? So there's a UI based machine learning engine which is given by Azure, which is called as AML, Azure Machine Learning. Also can be used for the analytics purpose. Then you have a load balancer which can help you to balance the load. Again, all those things you can see is inside a dotted line, which is nothing but your virtual network which you have created, and through which you are accessing that data or maybe the report through your web client or desktop client or mobile client, or even through SQL access. Okay, so this is nothing but a simple data pipeline, I would say, or simple architecture of a high level data platform. How does it work in Azure world? Excuse me. So there are a couple of other services which you can see over here is nothing but the notification, Active Directory, and Slack, which can be used for your monitoring and alerting purposes. Any questions, guys? Let's take some of the questions if you have, right? Rather than I keep on talking. I cannot see any questions. Guys, any questions? Any questions, guys? Please type in if you have. Hers, Amit, she says, yeah, there was one question that what are the disadvantage of migrating to cloud compared to on-premises? Okay, so see, so this is very good question. There are a couple of disadvantages also. Like if you're talking about, so that's where that hybrid model came in. Okay, what does hybrid model allow you? Is that you are implementing a combination of cloud as well as on-premises. Okay, so okay, so how not aware how Slack helps here. Okay, what is a Slack service? Okay, I'll cover that, but let me quickly cover what is a disadvantage. Okay, of migrating to cloud. So uh, there were a couple of disadvantage which leads you the innovation or the implementation into a hybrid type of model. Okay, with the help of hybrid model, what generally we did, right, with the help of that, uh, so consider, let me take the example of a bank. Okay, so consider you are talking about the highly sensitive data. Okay, and you do not want to push that data onto the cloud. Okay, why? Because this is a highly restricted data like credit card number, credit card pin, and all those. You still will go and persist that data onto your on-premises database. Okay, and that's where even though there are a lot of securities and the encryption and other things which is given by the cloud provider, you are not very much comfortable as per the bank guidelines and as per the government guidelines to push that data onto the cloud, and that's where you will go ahead with a hybrid type of model. Okay, Another disadvantage I will say is sometime, right? If you're using cloud for 5 year of term, okay, and then you are using infrastructure which is hosted by you for 5 years, in that case you will feel that you are spending little more compared to the normal infrastructure. Okay, finally means it would be equivalent, but there could be possibility that if you have not utilized the services effectively, you might need to spend a little more compared to your on premises. If and I'm not talking about immediately, okay, I'm talking about as per the maturity. So if you got a good maturity, and if you know that how the services can be leveraged within the cloud environment, then you are fine. Otherwise, if you are still learning, then you may incur additional cost into the cloud environment. Okay. Other thing is basically, okay, now let's understand what is a Slack service. Okay, so Slack, not aware how Slack is another communication channel. Okay, so like your Skype, I think you must have used Skype, or what I'll say, other services for communication, right? So like Skype and what was it, Team, all those services. Similarly, you have a Slack which can be used. So they have a API. Okay, you can always connect to the Slack APIs through the cloud platform. Okay, and that Slack service will enable you to what is a monitor and trigger the alerts. Okay, you can get the alert that okay, this pipeline has failed. Do you want to look into that? So all those integration can be taken care with the help of Slack APIs along with your cloud providers or cloud platform APIs. Hope I was able to answer your question, Prasad. Any other questions we have over the call before I move ahead? Cool, so let's move forward. So we discussed what is the integrated approach and how does it work. Let's see what is a modern data platform, right? Or modern data solution. So traditionally, we just thought of okay, what could be the source system? Okay, source system could be a structured data, it could be Excel file, it could be a database. But right now, the things are uh, going very fast, right? People are very much interested that okay, I want to do the data analytics on Facebook feed. I want to do the analytics on my images. I want to do the analytics on my emails, right? I want to do the analytics on my video. Okay, so that's where, with the emergence of all these new different types of data sources and the new types of analytics, which is like image recognition, video recognition, voice recognition, building the real-time dashboards, the modern data solution came into the picture. Okay, what does modern data solution says is it captures and stores the relational as well as non-relational data in real time. Okay, when I'm saying real time, so let me give you one example, right? We are working onto the project for one of the retail industries in US. They wanted to do the analytics by reading the video. So there was a camera, right? You must have seen that in all the malls, and they will have a cameras which will capture your image that where you are moving and all those. So based on those cameras and the image being captured through this camera, we were generating the insights that which customer is interested in what. Okay, so consider Murari Ramuka is spending overall 15 minutes in that mall. Out of that, he spent 5 minutes in jeans section. However, for other 10 minutes, he has distributed his time. That means he was interested to buy a jeans. Okay, and when he will trying to move out of the mall in the real time analytics world, he will get a message or he will get a notification, or he will whenever he will trying to do the billing, he will get a message from the what will say cashier saying that sir, I think you have spent some time onto this jeans section. I hope that you were not able to find maybe due to the cost or whatever, but there's an offer for you and we are giving you 30% discount if you want to relook some of the options of jeans once again, and you can try to buy if you want to buy anything. Okay, so that type of real time image recognition or video recognition which you are doing and coming up with that real time insights. Okay, and then generating a revenue. So that is what is nothing but a modern data solution. Okay, Another very important example was, if I think people must be aware about what is IoT. IoT is nothing but Internet of Things. Okay, so with the help of IoTs, most of the city in UK, what they are doing is they have a garbage this container, right? So whenever trucks are going through the city, right, they get a message from that that garbage container saying that depending on the weight of that garbage container, that okay, it is full or not, and that message will be sent to the truck saying that okay, this container is full, can you go and pick this container and replace it. Okay, so this is a complete automation which they did. Rather than a people look into the container whether it's full or not and then replace it, they will getting that automated signal from what to say, from the IoT device, and depending on that they are changing that container for the garbage. Okay, so all those things are nothing but a simple use case of a modern data solution implementation. Couple of other use cases are basically enhancement of 360-degree. So you will see in most of the what to say, marketing field or banking field, people are talking about 360 customer view. Okay, people are interested to see how does the customers are interacting, and how does my products are doing. So they are trying to integrate the data basically which is coming for a single customer from different sources. Okay, and then trying to enhance the 360 views. Okay, so it could be the data coming from CRM, the data coming from SAP, and all those things will be consolidated and a 360 view would be generated. Okay, people are talking about data warehouse augmentation. Very important thing, right? So what is data warehouse augmentation? So we talked about traditional data warehouse, but those are still there. It's not that they are killed, okay, they are died. No, they are still there. And now what is happening is that data warehouse is getting integrated with your big data system. Okay, because big data is capable enough to handle a huge volume of data as well as unstructured data. However, data warehouse is not able to capture your unstructured data, and that's where this data warehouse augmentation is playing a very crucial and what will say critical role in increasing the operational efficiency of an organization. Okay, so these are a couple of very important use case as far as the modern data platform is being considered. Major cloud providers are, I think everybody know, right? AWS, Azure, and GCP. These are the three leading cloud provider into the market right now. They are 32% of stack, which AWS hold, followed by around 25 to 26 of Azure, and 12 to 13% of GCPs. So this is the rough number I am giving as per my understanding and a report which I have seen last year. This may number may vary, but still the majority of the stack is occupied by AWS, followed by Azure and GCP. So GCP came into the race little late, and that's where they are still capturing the market. Any questions, guys, before I move ahead? Please feel free to ask questions, man. I do not want to make it a monotonous session and a type of professor session. Hope I am audible. Any questions? No. Okay. Let's move forward. I have a few more slides. I will try to run it very fast. So see, let's understand about these three cloud providers. Okay, what are the different services which they offer, and the comparison. Okay, so for compute services, right? When I'm saying compute services, I'm talking about the VM based machine. These are the services which is offered by AWS, followed by Azure and GCP. Okay, so AWS offers you the elastic compute engine, elastic bench, lambda. Okay, however GCP gives you the cloud function, kubernetes, app engine. Azure will give you the virtual machine, Kubernetes service, and Azure functions. Database service, if I talk about, GCP has SQL as well as non-SQL, similarly followed by so in AWS it is Amazon Relational Database Services, DynamoDB, which is another NoSQL key value database, and NoSQL indexes database is something simple DB. So similarly, in Azure, you have a SQL Azure SQL DB, Google Cloud SQL, and a Google Cloud Data Store followed by a Google Cloud Big Table. So Big Table is also one of the service which is given by GCP. So just to let you know, right, Google Cloud Big Table is the backend of your Gmail as well. Okay, so Google, what does Google done is Google has come up with all those functionality or feature which was available, which they were using for their purposes. Okay, and they have given it to the public, and that's where a couple of their data services are very powerful compared to other service providers. Okay, storages services again, these are the different storages services provided by AWS, Azure, and GCP. So for object storages, for virtual disk storage, for cold and file storages. So these are the different services provided by the AWS, Azure, and GCP cloud providers. Okay, networking services again, everybody gives you the VPC, which is virtual private network, virtual private cloud, in order to connect. Okay, and then they have a DNS, peering, and elastic load balancer also available in order to support your load balancing. Pricing wise, again, you can go through this. These are like something which is generic. So depending on how much CPU you are invoking, you will be charged as per that particular instance. Okay, couple of so see with this cloud platform, right, it will also allow you to log. Okay, so see what happens initially, right, when you want to collect the logs and anything onto the traditional world or onto the on-premises world, you need to develop that mechanism for alerting and monitoring, right? So you must need to use some other tools in order to do that. However, with the latest cloud providers, okay, so they have the in what to say they have the inside, so they have the capability which is included or incorporated into that particular service itself, which can capture the logs and help you to monitor and alert. Okay, so let me give you the example here of stack driver. So stack drivers will allow you to capture the all the what to say logs monitorings, and will be able to help you to generate or maybe trigger any alerts depending on the things which you want to configure. Okay, so there were a couple of demerits in what is a traditional ETL for lack of lagging, so which has been avoided or which has been taken care with a modern data platform, because you are able to collect logs as well as you are able to collect more features, right? How much time it is being taken, how much could be the what is it say TAT, SLA, all those things you would be able to capture with the help of these logging tools which are available within the cloud platform. Self-service BI again, with the new cloud features or cloud providers or the cloud data platform, it allows you to scale your self-service BI, right? So it will help you to enable what is say business user to develop their own dashboard. Okay. Previously, what was happening, right, in business object in other worlds, right? People are coming up with the requirement and then you develop the report. However, in self-service BI model, business user itself can go and develop their own report, which leads to the faster time of market and very less, and it reduces the dependency also onto the IT. So even business user can go and develop their own report by playing around it. The one of the very important aspect I will say with the cloud platform which we have received, right, is integrating the streaming data. Okay, so initially we were not able, so processing and integrating with streaming data was challenge. Okay, which has been overcome with the help of this cloud platform, because see, it's not just the cloud platform, I will say, with the help of modern data platform. Okay, like Apache Spark will is a messaging tool which allows you to read the real time messages, and then with the help of that you can go ahead and push that data into your data lake and do a real-time analytics. Okay, so all those streaming data can be captured onto your NoSQL database and then can be used for doing the further real-time analytics. Okay, so this was something very interesting streaming data use case which you will see around maybe, so people are going towards applying the streaming data and capturing the streaming data and then generating the analytics on top of that. So it is like getting a lot of tractions right now. Okay, any questions, guys? I'm about to finish. the PPT. So please feel free to ask if you have any questions. Okay, this is nothing but the evolution of cloud data analytics platform on cloud. Okay, how does the entire things work? So we are starting with source system and then ingestion layer. Ingestion layer is nothing but the where the source data will go and ingest into the storage layer. So at ingestion layer, it should be capable of handling your structured, unstructured, real-time, and batch data. And that's where you will see Kafka is being used for streaming data, which is ingesting the data into storage like data lake. And then you also have a data warehouse which is being used for the data storage, followed by analytics layer which is being used for your machine learning or your what is say BI reporting server. And on the bottom side you can see there are a couple of things for governance and monitoring purpose, okay, which is like gate notification and active directory rise. And onto the business layer, basically where you are accessing the final output is shown over here. So this is a high level, what will say, architecture view of a cloud analytics platform using Microsoft Azure services. Okay, any questions? And I quickly just wanted to thank everyone who have joined this session. And I request you to go through the Amazon and just look into my book. This is my book which I have published. Okay, it is available on Amazon as well as BPB. I request you to go through that once. I know there was little hiccups in between due to the power connect and the internet issue. I really apologize for that. But I feel that you must have enjoyed this session. Feel free to reach out to me in case if you have any further questions on LinkedIn, and I would be happy to assist you. You will find me conducting lot many sessions. As I told you, I am very much passionate about sharing the knowledge, and you will find me around conducting other sessions also for different community. So please do ping me, connect me over the LinkedIn. This is my LinkedIn ID and LinkedIn name, and I would be happy to help you in case you need any guidance on anything onto the data side of it. Thanks a lot for joining this and hope you have enjoyed and gone get something which you can say that okay, I have utilized 1 hour which I have spent on Saturday morning. So thank you once again, and thanks Chinmay and Pune developer community for giving me this platform to speak and understand you guys. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Any questions before I conclude? Let me just quickly see. Okay, can you please give example of ingestion data warehouse service on AWS? Okay, so AWS, so you have Kinesis, right? So Kinesis is something like similar to your PubSub or AWS, which is being used for the real-time streaming data. And then Glue also is being used for the data processing and data ingestion. However, for data warehouse services, Redshift is a service which is being used widely in AWS. Hello, I am audible, I think so. Yeah, so Redshift is equivalent to your Synapses and BigQuery in GCP. Okay, so these are a couple of services which you can use in order to develop the pipeline in AWS. How would you compare these three? AWS, Azure, GCP. Very good question, Cecil. We get these questions always from the customer. Okay, that why AWS, why GCP, or why maybe Azure, right? So again, all these three are similar to each other. There is no very much pros and cons. Okay, but right now, what I have seen is customers are trying to go towards multi-cloud strategy. Okay, because with one cloud, if they will go ahead, there would be a lock-in type of mechanism which they are going ahead. So right now, I have seen multiple implementation which is going through multi-cloud way. Okay, so when I'm saying multi-cloud, they are using AWS, GCP as well as Azure, all these three main cloud providers, so that they do not stuck into a what will say one type of client commitment or cloud provider commitment, and they do not got it into a lock-in type of thing. However, all these three AWS, GCP, and Azure have some what is a positive and negative. Like AWS is very good on the storage part of it. However, Azure gives you very strong network and security type of thing. GCP, I have seen, means I am specifically working on GCP and Azure. I have not extensively worked on AWS. But GCP I have seen is very good when it comes to the data platform or data analytics. So they have a very good scalable data platform which they provide to the end customer. How easy it is migrate from one cloud service provider to another. There are some effort involved, but yeah, it is not very much what will say a long journey to migrate, and even the cloud providers are making it very easy and seamlessly. There are lot many connectors available between one cloud provider to another, which allows you to migrate end-to-end platform, end-to-end service, end-to-end application. Share some details of Kafka. Kafka is like a messaging queue. Okay, so Kafka is a messaging queue. It works on a what will say a publisher and subscriber model. Okay, so what happens? Somebody will subscribe to your message, and then somebody will publish to your message, and it will have a topic. Okay, so topic is nothing but a type of what will say queue or messages on which you are pushing the message, and on the other end, somebody is there to pull that message. Okay, once that message is received onto the other hand of the publisher, sorry, subscriber, that message will be deleted from the queue. So an acknowledgement will be sent that the message has been received, and that message will be removed from the queue. You can always set the retry, that okay, how many retry attempts you want to make into the Kafka queue. You can always set the offset and other. There are multiple different properties. So Kafka itself is a huge topic, I think, which we can cover maybe in our next session. But yeah, just to give you a high level, Kafka is a messaging queue mechanism, which is like a message broker, which we have concluded. What course would you recommend for someone want to learn the data engineering from scratch? So again, there are multiple courses. Okay, I would recommend that you should start with the basic, understand that what is data engineering. Okay, how does the data engineering works, followed by little bit onto the programming concept like Pythons or Java, and then go through little bit onto the big data stack also, because big data is very important when you are talking about the data engineering. That the how the data could be processed into the big data world or big data ecosystem like MapReduce, Spark, all those things you should be a little bit aware about. Okay, and if you are talking about the data engineering onto the cloud, you can pick maybe any one of the cloud, which is like Azure, GCP, or AWS, and then try to do a hands-on on all these services which is available within that particular cloud provider. Any other questions, guys, over the phone, over the cool. I think we do not have any other questions, so we can conclude the session. Thanks a lot. Thank you for joining in and bearing with us, bearing with me at least for an hour or so. Hope to see you again, and thanks once again. Have a nice day and enjoy the IPL match today. Thank you.